Today we're going to be talking about a really interesting and significant partnership that has recently been formed between Russia and India, specifically in the realm of oil. Thanks for joining us. If you're new to our channel, we're glad you found us. We create high-quality content on a variety of topics, and we're excited to have you as a part of our community. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you for your support. We appreciate each and every one of you. Be sure to like this video and leave a comment below to let us know what you thought. We always love hearing from our viewers. As many of you may know, Russia is one of the world's largest oil producers and exporters, and India is one of the largest oil consumers. So it makes sense that these two countries would want to establish a strong partnership in this area. But what makes this partnership particularly noteworthy is the fact that it has the potential to completely upend the current global oil market and have significant implications for the United States and the European Union. So let's dive in and take a closer look at this partnership and what it could mean for the future. First of all, it's important to understand the context in which this partnership is formed. Russia has been facing economic sanctions from the US and the EU for a number of years now, due to its actions in Ukraine and its annexation of Crimea. These sanctions have had a significant impact on Russia's economy, and the country has been looking for ways to mitigate their effects. One way that Russia has been doing this is by establishing closer economic ties with other countries, particularly in Asia. And this is where India comes in. India is a major player on the global stage, and it has been actively seeking to diversify its sources of oil in order to reduce its dependence on the Middle East. Russia, with its vast oil reserves, is an attractive partner in this regard. So, the two countries have recently signed a number of agreements that will see Russia increasing its oil exports to India significantly. These exports will be done in a way that bypasses traditional shipping routes, which will make it more difficult for the US and the EU to impose their sanctions on Russia. This is a major development, as it will allow Russia to continue exporting oil and earn much-needed foreign currency, even in the face of economic sanctions. And for India, it will mean a stable and reliable source of oil, which will be crucial for its economic growth. So, what does all of this mean for the US and the EU? It's hard to say for certain, but it's clear that this partnership has the potential to shake up the global oil market and shift the balance of power somewhat. It's possible that the US and the EU may try to impose more stringent sanctions on Russia in response, but it's also possible that they will choose to engage in more diplomacy and try to find a way to work with this new reality. Certainly, there's a lot more to discuss when it comes to Russia's partnership with India and the potential implications for the US and the EU. One thing to consider is the potential impact on the global oil market. Russia is already one of the top oil producers in the world, and this partnership with India could potentially allow it to increase its market share even further. This could lead to a shift in the balance of power within the oil industry, as well as potentially affecting the prices of oil on the global market. Another important aspect to consider is the geopolitical implications of this partnership. The US and the EU have traditionally been the dominant players in the global oil market, and the formation of this partnership between Russia and India could potentially challenge that dominance. It could also lead to increased cooperation between Russia and India in other areas, potentially leading to a strengthening of their alliance and a further shifting of the global balance of power. It's also worth noting that this partnership is not without its challenges. There are logistical issues to consider, such as the transportation of the oil from Russia to India. Additionally, there may be concerns about the environmental impact of increased oil production and transportation. Overall, it's clear that this partnership between Russia and India has the potential to have significant consequences for the global oil market and the geopolitical landscape. It will be important to continue monitoring the developments of this partnership and its effects on the world stage. Russia's announcement this week that it will stop selling crude oil to any buyer that includes a price cap clause in the contract could stimulate more exports to India, according to Indian industry executives. The decree, which will become effective on February 1st, will also cover oil products, but exceptions may be made in special cases. According to President Vladimir Putin, Russia's decision is a response to actions that are unfriendly and contradictory to international law by the United States and other foreign states and international organizations joining them. The G7 earlier this year agreed to impose a price cap on Russian oil exports, in an effort to stifle Moscow's oil revenues without disrupting the global supply of oil. China and India were instrumental in the success of the cap, since the US and the UK already had bans on Russian oil and fuel imports, and the EU imposed an embargo on Russian crude oil imports by sea earlier this month. Japan was granted an exemption from the cap because Russian oil supplies are vital to the country's economy and hard to replace. Instead of joining the cap, both China and India have indicated that they prefer to continue doing business with Russia, especially since they are currently taking advantage of the significant discount on Russian crude. India has become a major outlet for seaborne cargoes of Russian crude oil, and the country is on track to import a record amount of oil from Russia in December. The G7 imposed a price cap of $60 on Russian oil after Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. In addition, Russia has reached out to India to explore opportunities for the purchase of at least 500 different products, including parts for cars, aircraft, and trains. India has become a prominent supplier of oil for Russia, and the country is seeking to diversify its sources of oil in order to reduce its dependence on the Middle East. In addition to the potential economic and geopolitical impacts, there are also potential environmental implications of this partnership. Russia is a major producer of oil, and the increased exports to India could potentially lead to an increase in greenhouse gas emissions. This is a concern given the urgent need to reduce emissions in order to address the climate crisis. It will be important for both Russia and India to consider this issue and take steps to minimize the environmental impact of their increased oil trade. There are also potential implications for the US and the EU, beyond just the economic effects of potential sanctions. The formation of this partnership could potentially lead to a realignment of global alliances, with Russia and India becoming closer allies and potentially working together on issues beyond just oil. This could have far-reaching consequences for the international community and could potentially lead to a shift in the global balance of power. Overall, it is clear that the partnership between Russia and India in the realm of oil is a significant development with the potential to have wide-ranging implications. It will be important to closely monitor the progress of this partnership and its effects on the global oil market, the economy, and geopolitics. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, be sure to hit that like button and leave a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay up to date on all of our latest content. Thanks for watching.